Nazywam się Maciej Lelusz. Przed Wami 32 odcinek evoilutioncastu. Będziemy mówić o bezpieczeństwie. Będziemy mówić o bezpieczeństwie i wyjściu trochę ze strefy swojego komfortu, to znaczy o bezpieczeństwie, które oparte jest o wywiad w zasadzie. Bardzo ciekawy odcinek z Ahmadem. Zapraszam Was serdecznie. A z tego miejsca chciałbym podziękować firmie VIM za to, że wspierają nas od wielu lat i dzięki temu, że wydają całkiem niezłe softy, nie ma co ukrywać, między innymi VIM AWS Backup and Recovery, do którego link znajdziecie na dole pod filmikiem. Dzięki temu możecie dostać za friko licencję na 10 instancji. Dzięki. Ahmad is joining us today. It's 32nd episode of evoilutioncast, so we are here a bit. We'll talk today about security from different angles. Ahmad, could you tell a little bit about yourself? What you're doing? What is your thing, buddy?
Yeah, so basically, I'm a hacker. Started in 2019. So let's be accurate, in mid of 2019. And within just like 5 months, I managed to be the top hacker by US DoD. So, yep, self-taught and focused on, quality and, being smart instead of, being hard worker.
Yeah, but when we met, there on site, you told me a little bit about your, different, I think, method that I used to hear. Because when you think about hackers, there are guys who looking out, for one specific line of the code, exploit it, right? And you take a little bit of that, but you just make it at scale, right? So what was the secret? What was the secret sauce of it?
So, basically hacking is not just about, computers. It's about the mindset. It's about way of thinking, how you try to break something in like easy way or in a special way that no one else thought about it before. And if we want to look about how I was able to find vulnerabilities in Pentagon, DARPA, these departments that no one else or very few people managed to find vulnerabilities at, and being the top hacker in 2019 is kind of looking at what are the things that are hidden or somehow not known much by the hackers or the bug bounty hunters who's trying to find vulnerabilities or hunt, and ability to catch all these things, discover them, and develop an automated process that actually allows you to, report more, get more reputation points, and be the top rank one. So, yeah, it's kind of not only about technology and not only about, approaching, but it's also about the mindset, the mentality, and think how you can be special, how you can do more achievements in less time and in less effort as well.
Yeah.
So for example,
no toil.
Exactly. So first step was finding vulnerabilities, special, unique vulnerabilities. Then second step was trying to identify, are these vulnerabilities affecting all the departments? And when the answer is yes, the third step is identifying a way or a method to automate the whole process to save time and achieve more quickly. So basically, within like 4 or 5 months, I managed to be the top hacker in the US DoD because of my automation process. Imagine if I'm trying to do all of this manually, finding vulnerability, exactly, reporting, it will take time.
Yeah, definitely. It was very interesting, the story behind that, about this automation, and it makes you way up to the elite, and then you shape it into company, right? So this automation and all the things regarding the security, it starts to for you the company that you are here right now with them, right?
Yeah. So, when I was ranked the top hacker by the US DoD, I had a lot of good opportunities for work. Fortunately and unfortunately, I didn't join. So I proceeded as a bug bounty hunter instead, working for my time, discovering vulnerabilities, getting paid for it, and using the same process of automation in order to focus on the programs that pay money. So I was like monitoring like the new subdomains being released, the new features, endpoints, files, and checking things. And this is how I was able to be the first guy to catch vulnerabilities. So my focus was not on only identifying critical things, but also on identifying more vulnerabilities in order to get more reputation and more money as well. And then, I wrapped all things together to create my startup, Cybertech, which focused on vulnerability assessment, penetration tests, developing unique projects in active hunting. So, yep, I had some good projects. And then Resecurity, the company that I'm in now, is the one who like acquired my company and started, now I'm part of Resecurity, so it's actually my company now.
All right, perfect. So, what about the Resecurity? What you doing, guys? Because when I enter on your website, it's like bang, right? It's a lot, right? And could you tell me a little bit on what you are focused right now as a white hacker who was like on the opposite side, and now the business owner who needs to present this knowledge and build out of it some case studies. So for whom is Resecurity and what you're doing there?
Yeah, so, basically, Resecurity, long story short, is an intelligence company that delivers unique threat intelligence solutions and services. But if we want to talk about more beyond that, so basically, Resecurity is not about a product and it's not about a service, it's about the humans. So we do our human intelligence work. Basically, we focus on the talents, on investing in our human operations. And this is why we are different. So, basically what we do is we have our hunter unit, which is a human intelligence unit that focused on taking the human mindset step forward by not focusing on the technology nor on the machine, but only focusing on human analysis, human investigations, manual investigation, which allows you to get unique data. So we created something unique. We didn't want to sound like other people or other vendors that work in the threat intel. So that's why we focus on the operational level and the human level as well.
It seems, like the general geo situation, like right now that is happening in different parts of the world. It's always some kind of war and always some kind of conflict of interest or normal conflict. It's enabled the security business, to grow, to gain more focus. And when I'm thinking about from the case study perspective, right? So when you think about how we can apply the knowledge of talents around the world, shaped on at the Resecurity or any other vendor, right? We have a couple of main targets going on. Each company needs that in some cases or in some time. So, like, could you tell me a little bit how you approach and to what kind of customer, what kind of situation they should focus on? For example, digital forensics. What is the moment? What is happened? What they should look for or protect themselves before happens something.
Yeah. It's not only about digital forensics. The main problem is about the threats first.
Okay.
So what we do provide is providing you precursive to an event or intel data that actually allows you to know anything before it even happens.
Could you elaborate about this intel data? Because this sounds, like, ooh, interesting.
Absolutely. So when you monitor the threats directly and indirectly about anything that is happening, you can't kind of predict the mindset, the behavior of the threat actors, and identify when they are going to target and where they are going to hit. Things we do is actually we do something called offensive operation.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive operation by developing upstream access with these criminal threat actors and going for, developing chain of assets. So when you are in the dark web industry, when you are in the criminal operation industry, so you are capable of detecting, monitoring, and analyzing their behaviors. And when you do that, you are actually one step ahead the threat actors because
you want to know what are the people, who are the people, and if you can.
exactly.
So it's like I'm watching I don't know new TVs on the internet, then the Intel AI knows that I want to procure probably, and it serves me some stuff. So it's
Yeah,
profiling me. So you're profiling generally the actors, right? On the
exactly.
scene. Okay.
It's not about, detecting their names or, where they live. It's about detecting their aliases, their nicknames, their profiles and their people, their friends, their operators. Because if you know their channels, you are actually, one step closer to detect their approach and what they are planning to do. So this is what I mean by chain of assets, upstream access, and offensive operation. And this is what I told you before. The thing that we do manual investigation, the hunter unit stuff, is because we go targeting these, big players. When you monitor the big players, the rest will be easy. IOCs, security incidents happening will be easy because, you need to identify an attack before it happens, not while it is happening or after it happens.
So forensics actually it's happening after,
Comes
right?
after.
Yeah, after.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
what you're saying here, it's like try to know your enemy to be prepared when they attack, not just looking who did it. Oh my God, who
Exactly.
did it? Okay, so
Yeah.
but this needs like tons of data, I assume. So
Right.
you need to have like enormous amount of data points to
Exactly.
track people who generally don't want to be found, right? So it's not
Yep.
like me, like I don't care, I'm publishing a podcast and you just type my name and the Google tells you everything, right? But more or less, those the guys or girls who just don't want to be known, right? So their data points needs to be obscured somehow. And how
Yep.
you manage that?
So basically we do our, we consider the largest dark web and botnet aggregators. So we do have, more than 80,000 sources where we pull data from, more than 340 million entries to the dark web, millions of data points where we match and we develop on daily basis. It's not about, so now it's about machine technology, signal intelligence and AI, data analysis. So yes, so we do invest a lot in these things in order to maintain the speed, reliability, and also, the visibility of everything happening.
So you collect these data points from different places, right? But I
Exactly.
assume that it's not like something that it's so easy to be procured. So it
Right.
needs specific, let's say, enter points and so on. So it's not only to the dark web, but also to the standard, let's say, internet and correlate them
Right.
together,
Right.
right? Okay.
So it's not about dark web, as you said. It's about internet, social media, open sources, dark web, botnets, operators as well, malwares, incidents. So it's 80,000 sources,
Yeah, it's a lot.
anything that is happening. Yes.
So, and could you tell me a little bit about this botnet? Because for, like most of the average users like me of the internet, the botnet, it's like a cloud of infected computers,
Yeah,
nevertheless, right? And
right.
is it happening that, that there are some honeypot botnets just for people who just entering
Yes.
there and, you just know that they do some shit, right? Or they plan some shit to do. Okay, gotcha. So this is the part of this 80,000 data points, right? So the honeypots and all of it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Botnets, as you said, there is a very cool idea about botnets, the honeypot ones. So
Mm-hmm.
we have one of our main clients in US. So what they do is they actually infect their devices with botnets, and they use us to monitor the botnets to identify the threat actors, what data they are selling, what data they are trying to use, and then they trap these threat actors and trick them to entering specific places inside the device because they actually own it, right?
Yeah. So it's
And
like a
then
super
they
fake.
exactly. So what they do is they study the behavior of the threat actors after infecting a device with a botnet. They study what data they look for, what things they exfiltrate, and where they sell, the channels, wherever. And then, in the end, they can catch them inside the honeypots, not
Hmm.
in the criminal marketplaces.
Yeah.
Because
So
we
which
have
is more
something.
easy.
Yeah, and if you close a criminal marketplace or if you close a channel for threat actors, they will go and create another channel that is more secure. So you don't want to catch them inside their channels. You want to let them play and then trick them to go to another place where it's controlled by you, and there
Yeah.
where you catch them.
All right, I get you. And when you think about these services, right? So this sounds a little bit, like a huge investment, right? So for
Yeah,
whom, for whom that kind of products, what is the case study for it? Besides, like a general case study. So I don't know, so banking sector, who use that products, who use that approach to build this, let's say,
right,
honeypots or create your data points, how it looks like, who is the customer.
right. Yes, here you're talking about big enterprises, banking
Hmm.
sector,
Hmm.
intelligence agencies, military, national security level, governments, and also, any enterprise that has big data centers or maybe big assets that needs to protect.
Hmm.
So speaking of banks as well, they face a lot problems of, fraud and money laundering, money mules. So what we do for banks is actually we do have our own anti-fraud solution that analyzes the behavior of any asset inside the bank, and actually it's capable of capturing any fraud behavior and stop it before even it happens. And the reason why we do this because we understand the behavior of botnets. We collect botnets, we analyze them, so we are actually capable of knowing if there is something similar to botnet with similar signature that is trying to do a fraud, for example, case.
So
Um,
mob analyzing the mob activity outside the
exactly,
banking system. Okay.
exactly. Yep. Studying the nature of the botnets, what are the cards or the financial records that are being sold and stolen from, and all of that when captured and analyzed, they will enhance the threat intel product of the bank. Also, they will enhance the security operations as
Mm.
well. Yeah.
And when you think about it, like because this is a big enterprise, right? So the customers that maybe they are not a few but hundreds, right, globally
Yeah.
that are like, but for the average company like SMB, maybe plus, small enterprise, what do you think that they should invest in? So what is the most important part for them, or from your portfolio or in general in this area?
Yeah.
How
You
they
know what
need to
I
approach that?
notice? Right. So what I usually notice, first of all, we focus on quality more than quantity. So if you look
Hmm.
at our profile, we are somehow, not very known, but at the same time, we are very known when it's
Hmm.
related to intelligence and protection.
Hmm.
So we try to capture the top clients that are actually anchor clients. That
Of
so
course.
kind of the first payment gateway in the world, first bank in the world, the known products in the world, are our clients because they know our value. So regarding your question, what I usually notice is a lot of companies focus on protecting everything behind, below their firewall, inside
Hmm.
their network. So they implement firewalls, EDRs, you know, uh, protections, antiviruses, all these solutions, but they forget to focus on their employees, on their threats that are outside their firewall, on their surrounding, and their parameter. And this is where hackers actually try to exploit. No hacker will go target you directly because they know you're implementing the highest security level, right? So you have firewall, you will be protected, for example. But when they try to target a personal device, in fact, a personal device of an employee, and wait this employee to come inside the network where they can infiltrate now and exploit, and this is what they look for, actually.
So this is what you want to tell me. If I understand, let me rephrase that. So let's say we build a fortress, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't send the agents right outside our fortress. So we are very secured. But when you look back in the days, like 2000 years in the back, all the fortresses, or most of them, are destroyed.
Yeah.
So what you're saying to me, it's worth to think what is happening outside. So you're like sending your agents, sending your intelligence to outside world and try to figure it out. What are the threats there and what is waiting for me, right?
Right.
Okay, and then there is that kind of tools, because it's easy, right? Like you said, you're buying firewall, you're buying some ADS, EPS, some stuff like this. You check it, there is a cloud of intelligent security wherever looking at the traffic.
Right.
Feels pretty secure. But like Resecurity is a company that can deliver for a smaller business, not Fortune 500, this kind of tools that you will see that something is cooking up, right? I'm not saying that it will protect you, but it's telling you, hey, outside our walls, there is an army buddy walking in our direction.
Right. So targeted campaigns, illegal trafficking, for example, targeted attacks, so all these we can monitor. And, for national security level, it's important for them to identify if there is an attack that's being prepared to target certain. You heard about denial of service attacks. You heard about like targeted campaigns that are attacking certain governments. And all of this we usually track, monitor in order to identify them before even it hits. But back to your point for the fortress. So basically, they all care about protecting, their castle from the inside.
Yep.
Their soldiers, but they forget when this soldier go out his castle. So, and this is where the threat actors exploit.
So executive protection, for example, right? So that there is an executive going on vacation, having great time in Ibiza, having fun at Pasha, and dropping his phone, right? So this situation is let's say a stinky situation, because you never know what can happen with this device when he came back or she came back to the motherhood.
Exactly. So, That's why, we tell usually our clients, our main mission is to focus on any threat that is targeting you outside your firewall, above your firewall. Because, well, we've seen a lot. I've been a red team operation, so I've been working before in the offensive part of the red team operations. So a black box offensive red team operator. So one of the projects I did is that we had the target company X, for example, and it was fully secure from firewall encryption. You cannot touch it, actually. So we had to compromise a third-party company that has some access inside there. And from the third-party company, we infiltrated to the main company through a channel that is secure. So threat actors, hackers, the main guys, the big players will look for this. They're not going to target you directly. They're going to target a friend, a brother, for example, family member, and through this guy, because he's the trusted person, is trustworthy for you, they will target you unintentionally. So so this is what we usually look for. So basically, for us as protection, we protect the small individuals to the big enterprises. So we have an application, small application on Apple Store, Play Store, Google Play. So it's called Resecurity Identity Protection, where you can monitor your emails, phone number, social security number, your cards, and identify you if there is any breach or compromise about you on the sources, like dark web, open source, social media. So imagine this is for small individuals, and even executive level can use it to protect their identity. Two, the high level enterprises, as you see, where we have the threat intel and the fraud for the banks, and the executive protection level, security protection, physical security protection, and way more. Because, we understand that threats are not always direct. There is indirect threats that can be chained to direct threats. So chaining of vulnerabilities in order to achieve bigger impact. And this is what hackers look to achieve.
Right. So you have your Fortis, right? And for example,
Yeah.
you have the software that tells you that something is cooking outside, but it's not allowing you to, as a person, right? So let's take out yourself from the corporate identification, right? So it's going there, right? So you're always owning as a person something which is digital, connected, or generally, cooked to the internet, right? So what you're saying that there's a one part, like the Fortress, corporate, all these fancy systems that everybody
Right.
hates, right? And there is a cozy home, right? That you
Yep.
don't care. And this is the place basically that you need to as well protect your identity because like non-planned, but it could be used
Yeah.
against
And
you.
right.
Hmm.
So because when this guy comes back again inside, he will be a potential insider threat without even
Hmm.
him knowing. So identifying the potential insider threats that can compromise the whole organization or the fortress is also things that we do.
Yeah, it's like Trojan horse, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Yeah. So this gives us, like a little bit of intelligence services, executive protection part. But what about the threat detection itself? So you have all these billions of information, and what I see, like average size company have a little bit different problems. The problems they have a lot of tools, but
Yeah,
no people to look into it, right? So they have
right.
like thousands of reports that everybody, you create filter in Outlook, right? And you just put it into the folder that you will never read, right? Sorry, you have
Yeah,
10 minutes.
okay.
So, and this is my question: how how you manage to present to the customer that amount of information to give them a real value? Because I don't believe that they are like super machines to analyze everything, right? They just need to like bang problem, buddy, wake up. So how are you doing
Yeah.
that?
This is where the AI comes in place, and the capability of analyzing, filtering, and making sure that you only focus on the high threat levels, especially when you want to show to a customer or client that you've been. So what we focus is main two things. We focus on a threat risk. The threat risk meaning that we focus on, are you being targeted? And do you have material breach? These are the two
Mm,
main pillars we look for. So if you identify that you are being targeted, then you need to identify if you have you been compromised or not, which is the material breach. And this is where our focus is. So unlike others, we do operate in our, in our, our playground, and we do have our own mentality from our expertise. You see, Resecurity is a bunch of hackers, military people, technical guys. So, and that's how we built all these things. So what we tell the client, we answer actually the client about everything by two simple things. Are you being targeted? You have material breach or not? If he's not being targeted, if he does not have any material breach, means that he's good, he's safe. And so we wrap it all up in these two main things.
and when you have this situation, like the person was targeted, but it's not yet breached, do you do some threat detection? Like you put on the another level, like Delta, Tango, wherever level, right? And everybody, it's super,
Yeah,
like super obsessed then.
right. So one thing to consider about our platform, you can call it as a predator. It's always
Hmm.
hungry and it hunts. So whenever there is a potential target, it doesn't rest until it finds results.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, identification of a potential material breach when someone is targeted. And here, you talk about a specific signature, specific person, or a specific machine you're analyzing, where it somehow was hit on the dark web or it mentioned somewhere. So the machine is kind of predator. It actively
Mm-hmm.
hunts. So
Okay.
it's not only the machine, it's also our hunter unit operators, where they go manually investigate.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. So this is something that you can act, like constantly, like this is instant monitoring. Oh, sorry, constant monitoring. Something that it's happening all the time in the background. You pay some
exactly.
back, and you get the report. Somebody call you like, "Hey, buddy, watch out." Well, it's easy situation, or your company. But there, for the
Yep.
company though, we have a more complicated system usually behind. And I saw that, like a lot of companies right now looking for somebody who is like virtual CISO because
Mm,
they know that with some limited budget and basically not that
right,
huge infrastructure, right? They don't need super talented guy or girl on board, right?
right.
So they look for a virtual CISO. And what you think about it? What is your thought? It is a good approach, or they should employ somebody, sitting 8 hours, on the chair?
Basically for me, I believe it's kind of consultancy. So it's not bad if you don't have the necessary resources. And if you're small, medium, you don't have much to, spend,
And offer
resources on
in the end.
human. Exactly. So, we started doing this because we understood that not all companies has the maturity, or even if you want to, assign a CISO, actually, an actual CISO, you need to maintain that he's doing the right job, he's delivering the right things.
Exactly.
This is the main problem because you need a CISO because you cannot deliver what he can do, what he's
Yeah,
capable
and,
of
and
doing.
and then if you have a shitty CISO, then you go for digital forensics.
Yeah, right. So virtual CISO is something where you can help not only from CISO perspective, but only from the whole team industry perspective, where you can help
Mm.
them in the whole expertise because you're actually running a company and you're actually running the security of multiple companies. So they will get a very good benefit from not only
Yeah,
CISO
yeah,
consulting. Yeah,
yeah. I believe that when you work on the open market, right, and you can gather experience from different
exactly.
directions. So like you work in that company, you work in different company, you work in completely different sector. Then close yourself into some kind of golden cage that everything is cool, right? So you see that in different companies
Right.
that these things can go like really sideways. And the same is with the like architecture, IT architecture. We do the IT architecture for the last 20 years, and I think the biggest value that we bring to the customer, it's not that we do the architecture. No, no, no. It's the thing that we did, like five hundreds of them
Exactly, the experience.
experience. Because, some of them were good, some of them were some of them went totally shit, right? But, this experience, it's something that, it's worth the money. Because if you have a
Right,
person employed under you, I'm not saying that it's a bad person. No, it could be awesome. But if your organization
right,
it's not big enough, it's not vast enough, then this person it doesn't grow, right? And
right,
even if it's not growing, then where is the experience coming from, right? So every day
right.
doing the same stuff, well.
Kind
So
of routine. Exactly.
so you're saying that, for example, if you are a big organization, then you can have a person inside, but as well you can go for this as a consulting to check as well for yourself as an owner, but as well for the CISO. It's like he's have a buddy, like like a coaching colleague, right? Like, hey, I'm doing this. Is it okay? So this is
Yeah.
something was a part of the service as well.
Exactly. It's not bad if a CISO requested a virtual CISO assistant or
Yeah,
consultant because,
it's
as you
very
said,
wise
maybe
actually.
he is right. So maybe there are some stuff he doesn't know. Maybe he's not working in a scalable, environment where a
Hmm.
lot of things. Yeah. So absolutely.
Oh, very nice. like it's super hard to fit everything in 35, 40 minutes, right? But I think
Yeah.
we touch some points, right? We touch
Yep.
some points of general feeling about the security. To sum
Right.
it up, for me, when we met, personally, it was super amazing idea about looking outside your fortress because I never heard it
Yeah.
before, right? And I
Mm.
truly believe if you have a good intelligence that you can afford, right? And it's working
Yeah.
in the end, and it give you information that, hey, buddy, you just appear somewhere on dark with your surname and name, then even if you don't have much, you start to become more careful as a
Yep.
person. I'm not talking about technology. I'm talking general. You start to read the
Exactly.
emails, think a little bit twice when you click the link. Like if somebody bring you a pen drive, you'll be like,
Right.
nah, not today. Mm-mm. Even if it's your friend, right? Like,
Because
not today.
yeah, because you need to identify why you were mentioned there,
And this
how
is
you were
another.
mentioned.
So I think this is a
Yeah.
digital forensics 2.0. So it's digital forensic before it happened. because you
Yeah.
want to know like who paid for that shit because
Investigations.
the things doesn't happen for free. So somebody, if
Exactly.
somebody wants to target you, then why? It's a natural
Exactly.
question. Very nice. Ahmad, thank you very much. It was a very
Thank
nice
you too.
conversation, and I hope we will have time to meet another time in this lovely Dubai
Absolutely.
city. And thanks again, and everybody, thank you very much. My name was Maciej Lelusz. This was 32nd episode of EvolutionCast. Thanks, everybody.
Pleasure.